Here is a scenario that every mom I know will be truly familiar with. It's a Tuesday morning and you've been up for an hour preparing lunchboxes, signing homework, checking kit bags, making sure water bottles are full, making sure the project that is due today is packaged in a way that it doesn't fall apart on the way to school. Oh yes, then it's feeding the dogs, changing the cat litter and taking a loaf of bread out of the freezer. Oops. Almost forgot to send in money for the cake sale, label a new swimming cozzie, and where are all the clean masks? Somehow, it doesn't matter what age your kids are, there is always something to pack or remember. Someone who needs to be somewhere on a specific day at a specific time. It's exhausting just talking about it. So imagine the mental load of thinking like this all day, every day, on top of dealing with demands of a full-time job and a needy husband. Not that I would know anything about that. In addition to sapping time and energy, much of this work goes unseen, which means it's also typically taken for granted. Sound familiar? Have I got your attention? This hair-raising scenario is referred to as invisible labor, or so-called worry work. And because it's invisible, it goes unnoticed, with many women blissfully unaware that it's even a thing. It is very definitely a thing. This kind of labor is not about the physical tasks, but rather the overseeing of those tasks. It's about being the one in charge of having the never-ending list of to-do items constantly somersaulting around in your head, remembering what needs to get done and when, delegating all the tasks to the family and making sure they actually get done. It requires constant mental presence, and it's this mind share versus time share equation that is at the heart of a very heavy mental load. Not just being a parent or a partner, but the unofficial project manager making sure nothing falls through the cracks, and when it does, making sure you're there and have everything you need to pick up the pieces. If you're a single parent, you might be thinking, welcome to my world. It's true. One of the biggest bonuses associated with a romantic relationship is being able to share the load. But even in the most progressive households, where couples split the chores pretty evenly, there's still often one person who ends up carrying the mental load and doing most of the thinking work. Now, it's true that anyone can find themselves carrying the mental load in a relationship, regardless of gender. Men, for example, who grew up in households with one parent or without traditional gender roles, might carry more of a load in their relationships, particularly if they had to take on responsibilities or care for siblings. But for the most part, this almost always lands up being a woman. Studies of heterosexual married couples have found that women in relationships almost always take on the invisible labor, especially when it came to anticipating the needs of others. Women certainly do give the impression that they can do it all. They always know where the lost keys are, always have something in their bag that is needed. I mean, how do they know? And they seem to be master multitaskers. But the truth is that no one is really very good at multitasking, and inevitably something's got to give. In the case of working women, that's often their own happiness and well-being. At the very root of the problem is that invisible labor strips women of time to themselves. And that has a unique link to feelings of distress and emptiness and is associated with low satisfaction levels about life in general. Ladies, moms, single parents, I see you. Gents, dads and husbands, start taking note. The lunchboxes aren't going to stop and the dentist appointments aren't going to make themselves. So where are moms going to conjure up all this extra time from? The thing is, and I'm generalizing here, women don't necessarily need help with accomplishing each and every chore around the house. What they do need is some kind of relief from the responsibility of being the only one in charge of knowing everything that needs to get done. For someone to be the best partner and parent they can be, they need to feel loved and nurtured. When someone starts feeling overly responsible for, well, everything, their mental health starts to suffer. When you feel supported, you have the emotional resources to cope well with the demands you face. When you don't, you feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and burnt out. And as every parent knows, children feed off the emotions of their parents. So if mom or dad isn't happy, no one is. So how do we change the narrative? I'd suggest the first place to start is by making the invisible invisible. Make a list of all those things floating around in your brain. Write down everything, even those things that you don't think are important to anyone else, because no doubt they actually are. Once you start getting visual with your mental to-do list, you and your partner will realize just how much of what you do flies under the radar. Of course, changing the division of invisible labor at home shouldn't be another thing to fall exclusively on mom's shoulders. Each family member must be part of the solution. So have an open and honest conversation with your partner and your kids about this list, why it's making you spin out and how you think things should change. This needs to be a rational conversation, not a passing one-liner or an exhausted cry for help. You need to get into the details of what your mental load looks like and how you'd like it shared. Ultimately, this is about your partner stepping up when it comes to household and family responsibilities. You want them to take initiative, not wait for you to ask them to do things. They should know what needs to get done because they are involved as you are in managing the household. I learned that through trial and error. Mostly error, because I could never understand why when she was preparing dinner and I asked, "Can I do anything to help?" I was met with a look of death from my wife. That look that said the kids are running wild, homework is not being done, pets are not being fed, washing has not been brought in, and you have the audacity to ask, "What can I do to help?" I've since recognized the errors of my ways. This isn't a single conversation. It's an ongoing discussion, but you do need to get it started. Use this video as an icebreaker if you like. Your partner and family need to really, truly understand what invisible labor is and how it's affecting you before they will really, truly be able to commit to change and to share the load. Parenting and partnering is stressful. It's demanding, it's exhausting, and all-encompassing. The pressure to be a good parent and the perfect partner can be overwhelming at times, even suffocating for some. And it's for this reason that so many push aside their own needs for the sake of their families. But being a good parent and partner means you need to have the mental, physical, and emotional capacity to do so. If you're at the bottom of your barrel, self-care probably isn't at the top of your priority list. But here's something you need to know. Self-care is not the same as self-indulgence or being selfish. Self-care means taking care of yourself so that you can be healthy, you can be happy, you can be well, you can do your job and you can help and care for others, and you can do all the things you need to and want to accomplish in a day, and you can be the best parent you can be. That's self-care. So look after yourself with a healthy diet, regular exercise, and good sleep. Find those activities that bring you joy and fill your proverbial bucket. Nurture those authentic connections with others who are supportive and who can relate to your mental multitasking. Shut down the invisible labor gymnastics for a few minutes each day. Get outside for some natural sunshine and simply take a breath. And finally, remember that it's okay if you drop a ball or two. If the past 2 years have taught us anything, it's to roll with the punches. So take the same approach to your own mental load. You will make mistakes. You will forget something. You will feel guilty. But forgive yourself. Be patient. Be kind. You're doing the best you can, and your family will benefit in so many ways from having the sole focus of your love and attention. Your kids don't need the perfect lunchbox. They need a happy, healthy, and engaged mom. Be that mom.